Hello, this short video will show you how to create a Gantt chart in Tableau. Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. The first thing I'd like you to do is just describe what a Gantt chart is. I have one here on the screen. Across the x-axis we just have time. Okay. On the y-axis here I have different tasks. And a Gantt chart just communicates when these tasks will start and then how long they last. So here this one looks like this task specifications is starting around March 14th and will last about 2 weeks. So this is a typical Gantt chart. I'm going to make a slightly different version of a Gantt chart, and that has to do with the happiness index for various countries around the world. So here I have a ranking of the happiness for different countries in the world. So Finland here is the most happiest country in the world. Their score is 7.77 here. But the rankings go from Finland down to Denmark, Norway, all the way down. The United States is down here somewhere at 19, it looks like. So what I'd like to do with my Gantt chart is show you how has the happiness index ranking changed between 2 years. So let's say from 2015 up to 2019. So back in 2015, you can see that Switzerland was first. USA was at 15th. In 2019, they had dropped to 19th. So how much have the rankings changed by the different countries? That's the Gantt chart that I'm going to create. Okay, let's go into Tableau then. Here's the data. I have the country and then the regions. I also have the rankings for 2015 through 2019. So we can see Switzerland was highest for 2015, but they dropped to 6th in the world rankings in 2019 here. The country that it was highest in 2019 was Finland. Okay. Denmark was second, all the way down. In order to create a Gantt chart inside of Tableau, I need these additional columns, or at least one of these. And here what I'm calculating is the difference between 2019 versus 2015. So this -5, what that indicates is that Switzerland was at first rank, their highest ranking. They were number 1, and they dropped to number 6. So they dropped by 5. The negative indicates that they dropped, and it was by 5. Okay. Iceland was 2 in 2015, and they dropped to 4, so they only dropped by 2 there. Denmark and Norway both moved up in their rankings between 2015 and 19. So I need this difference column in order to create a Gantt chart inside of Tableau. Okay, so let's move over to our Gantt chart now. I'm going to start by putting country in the rows box, so that's going to list all the countries out for me. And then I'm going to pick up either 2015 or 2019. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2019 and drop that in the columns box. It doesn't matter if you put 2015 here as well. I'm just using 19. And I can see that I'm getting the rankings here. Now, to put the Gantt bars on there, I want to pick up that difference variable and place that into the size. Okay, so I'm picking up the difference there in size. And again, I'm doing 19 back to 15. So you can see here, this right here is Albania. In 2019, they were at 107 in their ranking. And in 2015, they were 12 higher than that, I guess. Or the way that reads is they fell from 2015 to 2019. So in 2019, they had a ranking of 107. So one thing that's bad about this Gantt chart is I don't know, it's not easy to understand where we're at in 2019. So what I'm going to do to fix that is pick up 2019 again, drag it into columns, and this is going to create a secondary chart for me. I have 2 marks tabs now, one for the Gantt bars here, and then one for this graph over on the right that I'm creating. So for the graph over on the right, which is this one here, I want to take off the Gantt bars and I want that to be a shape instead. I wanted it to be a solid colored, etc. Okay. Now what I want to do is just dual axis these two charts. Bring these dots over onto this chart. So I can do that by just right clicking and say dual axis. Okay, we can see that the axes are not synchronized exactly, so let's do a right click and synchronize those axes. And now you can see that dot there along with my bar. Now if I want to make that dot bigger, I would go under the Marks tab for the shape and increase the size here. Now unfortunately what that's doing is increasing the width of the bar and of the circle. So if I bring that back, you can see that both of those are changing together. The reason that's happening is because I continue to have that difference variable or that Gantt information on this shape Marks tab. So if I take that off, now I can control the size of the circle independent of the size of the bar. Okay. And if I go back to the Marks tab for the Gantt bars, I can control the width of the bar here, independent of the circles. Again, what I did there is I removed the difference variable off of this Marks tab. Okay. The other thing I could do is fix this tooltip a little bit. We can see that there's not information about where I started in 2015. So on the Gantt bar, I could pick up the 2015 information and put it on detail. And now that will show up on my tooltip. I probably don't need the difference, so if I go in there and edit that, I can remove that difference variable. And now I can see that in 2015 they were ranked 30th. In 2019 they fell back to 47th place. So anything that goes in this direction with the Gantt bar on the left and the dot on the right is getting worse. This here country, or maybe this one here, Brazil, actually got quite a bit better. They went from 16th place in 2000 and, or excuse me, that's also a bad one. I need one that's going the other direction here. Armenia went from 127th place in 2015 up to 116th place here in 2019. I might want to color code those. So this Armenia was a positive change. So let's create a variable called positive negative and then do the color by that. So come over here, we're going to do a create a calculated field. I'm going to call this positive negative change. Just a little if statement. If that difference is negative, and that's going to be a negative change. Else it's going to be a positive change. So that should do it for me. A little if-then statement. Of course, I got an error in there somewhere. Now it's saying that I already have that created. That's because I do. Let me just call that one 2. So I left that in there from before. And get rid of my other one, I guess, if I wanted. Delete that one out. So now under the alls, so it'll affect both the Gantt bars and the circles, I want to bring positive negative into color. And then appropriately identify those colors. Probably negative is bad, so we'll make that red. Positive is good, so we'll make that one green. Afghanistan here didn't change at all, so you can see there's not much of a bar there. Might actually be better to make those hollow so that you can see that bar inside there. There you go. That's a Gantt chart made in Tableau then. I could do things, I guess, bring region. I have region in here as a filter, so maybe I only want to look at the Latin American countries and the Caribbean, excuse me. So you can see Venezuela did a lot worse for some reason there. They went from 23rd clear back to 108th place. This country did a lot better. Honduras moved up a lot. Again, Costa Rica didn't change much at all, and you can kind of see that there. So that there is a variation of a traditional Gantt bar in Tableau. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.